to the president. Let's talk about, the cabinet secretaries that are already, resuming their offices right now. Your take as a political analyst, Kenyans, it seems that the president has rewarded, quote unquote, the loyalists. So what does formation of government really entail? Is it politics at the same time, delivery, or how does the president strike a balance in this?
Thank you so much. I think the first step in government is politics. It is their teams, and they fight to get into government, to run the affairs of government, to dispense power, to utilize resources on behalf of the people. And that is the main quest. Any other thing is to camouflage it so that it doesn't look bad. But what people want is power, ability to determine the fates and lives of Kenyans, and to go to accumulate and enjoy the prestige, the largesse that goes with those positions. So that is it. And when you go in, you go in as a team. You go in from a team, and that team expects rewards. That team expects positions. You don't expect somebody to contribute to the presidential campaign, put his time, energy, only to be told now we have gotten some foreigners from Korea to come and help us run government. You will be thrown out.
Right.
So first and foremost, it is politics. Then secondly, it is service delivery.
Yes.
So you have to marry those two. And sometimes politics... in fact, not sometimes. The whole time, politics takes the center stage. We could be very efficient, very, very, very efficient. But your community was not in our team. So we can only give you a token.
Yes.
Yet we know you can do this very well. But myself, maybe my community brought in the vote. I also brought in a lot of players. So you'll be saying, okay, let Weda get it because he was in the team. That is how you see some cabinet secretaries. Some have been in the team, they're efficient. Yes. Some are in the team and they need prayers, they need the grace of God so that the team succeeds. Right. But they're there because you have also, the constitution requires national, regional balance, gender balancing, all these things. When you look at them, you can't therefore just talk about competence. No.
So it's not just about competence. You said that first is politics.
Politics,
and then now
then balancing, then the future. You balance many things. It is in that balance, in that fulcrum, that you settle on people. If you just come and say competence, you'll be told, where have you picked this one from? He was never with us. He was not in the gutters with us. He didn't suffer like this. You have heard what Honorable Gachagua is saying. He's saying, watu wandani wakule kwanza washibe, ndio now the others will come. So there are many things that are being balanced. Yes, you have to show the Ogieks that you have one of them. You have to show the Turkanas. We have one of them. So if you go and tell the Turkanas, you don't have PhD holders. We wanted PhD holders. They'll tell you, okay, wait the day we vote. We shall know people. So many things are balanced. And Kenyans know this. It is not only, even in America, that you balance interests.
Kenyans know this, but remember, this time, Kenyans are dealing with so many issues and therefore a lot of expectations. And we heard them talking when the president nominated the cabinet, for instance, and they were not satisfied because we see Kenyans speaking even online with some names. So how do you rate the selection or the choice of the president as far as the cabinet is concerned?
Thank you. You see, the same Kenyans will talk. The same Kenyans will talk. But when they go to vote, there are things they look at. Are you a member of our party? Do you belong to my tribe? Or have you given me something? Those are three major considerations. How they end up now considering other things after elections, I really call it a very voodoo way of thinking.
But when they were campaigning, they were saying they are now looking at issues. And
I don't think many Kenyans voted on the basis of issues. No. I don't think the Kalenjins voted for the president on the basis of issues. I don't think the Luos voted for Raila on the basis of issues. No. They said, one of our own here, we are giving you. These others come in as dessert. The real motivation for voting is put aside because people are embarrassed about it. Then now they come and say, okay, we want this, we want that. The promises are there. But I really don't think that most of this voting is based on the promises, based on the future. They are normally based on the present and the past.
Yes, so
Yes.
now having that in mind, politics first,
Yes.
and then now issues and service delivery, how would you rate his choice, the president's
I think
choice?
he's done relatively well. There are some members of the cabinet that I have a lot of hope in, a lot of confidence in, and I think they'll do well. People like Murkomen, given a chance, I think he would be very outstanding from the past, the present, the intellect, the ability, the record. I think he would do very well. But there are also some that need the grace of God.
Okay.
Jehovah to travel with them because they need it. They on their own, they are weak. They know themselves. You see them. You see their faces. You hear when they talk and you say, we need the grace of God to travel with them and to travel with us. But luckily the president is there. He will guide them. The cabinet is a matter of collective responsibility, collective vision by the president, done things so that workers and people who have technocrats and they listen to the technocrats would be able to achieve. But there are others who, even the way they walk, you can see they're already lazy.
Let's give them a chance.
Yes,
That's
they need the grace of God.
Yes, and,
Yes.
and that's what some of the members in the Ruto administration are saying, that let's give them a chance.
Yes.
Because during the vetting, we saw some cabinet nominees that were not unanimously endorsed
Yes.
for their positions. But again, Parliament said, let's give them a benefit of doubt and see what they are going to do, right? So let's talk about the principal secretaries.
Yes.
You know, this week the president is expected again to pick some 50, and when you look at what the former president Uhuru Kenyatta had, he had 42, and now Kenyans are again asking why 50. I mean, I think the president had promised to ensure that there is no addition of or creation of more positions in the government. Maybe you can elaborate on that. Why 50?
Thank you so much. I really think that those who complain about positions are looking at the crumbs and not the big picture. It's not an additional PS or additional CS that brings in the problem. It is how competent some of these people are, how able to innovate, to bring in new ideas, to work together. So the principal secretaries are people who are expected to be accounting officers, policy implementers. They're supposed to not only help in generating ideas, but they're policy implementers. They form a team. They are like the CEOs of ministries.
Right.
So you get good people and you'll be able to move forward. It is not that there were 3, 4, 5 extra. It is how productive some of these people are. Besides, there's always the challenging question in Kenya of regional balance, representation. As much as we know, every person, whenever cabinet is unveiled, or the CSs, you first of all want to see from my region who is there. And if you find there's nobody from your region, you say this government is too biased, this is out. So that has to be balance. I think that also takes into account the PSs. There are so many. If you give 22 cabinet positions, we are first and foremost 47 tribes in this country.
Yeah.
If they miss in the 22 already, they are grumbling.
Yes.
Then if now they miss in the 50, they are open for opposition to come and tell them, you people, you have nothing in this government. You are not represented. So all those things are taken into account, besides the ability to run government, run with the vision, because they are the CEOs.
Yeah.
Cabinet secretaries are policy developers, and they push policy, they push, they generate ideas, but then the PSs are the ones who are like the CEOs, the policy implementers down.
Yes. And again, the grace of God that you say some
Yes.
of these cabinet secretaries that have been approved
Yes.
to take office may need
Yes.
can come in the form of these PSs that the head of state is expected to nominate.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that again he should look at while nominating them into these positions? Remember, they are the policy implementers, they are the CEOs, of ministries.
Yes. Personally, I would think one, The president knows some of these people. So, and they have not been imported from North Korea or whatever. We know them. Some, they're there. But given good, competent PSs, some of these people that look weak can come out very sterling. Just like you have promising people like Murkomen, but you give him a wrong CS who will be frustrating him. If he says we go left, he goes right. It becomes dysfunctional. And again, when it is dysfunctional, it is the CS that takes the beating.
Yes.
Like ameshindwa. And naongea hivi, na hivi, na hivi. Yet things go this way. So I think the president will look at, first of all, the abilities of some of these ministers, cabinet secretaries, and then give them competent, hardworking, focused CSs, PSs, hoping they will listen. Some are so minister that you can't advise them in their ignorance. But if you listen, if you work, I think you see people like Matiang'i. He was not trained in security, but I think he was able to zinc with various leaders, various talent, various knowledge within the sector, and he was able to deliver, although he later on veered off beyond bounds. But that is what some of these CSs need. You have your technocrats, and you listen to them carefully. They show you, they lead you, they train you, they move with you, and you just become, wow. People are like, we didn't expect this. But because of the technocrats. You don't listen to the technocrats, even if you are professor in etymology, it will still not help. So I think in the choice of cabinet principal secretaries, we trust and continue to pray for the president to select men and women who are workers, people who are real workers.
And aside from that, again, politics first, because we've seen big names in the list that has been submitted to the president for nomination. People who've really closely worked with President Ruto, especially during the campaigns. We've seen Samuel Tunai, the former governor, and also Nixon Korir, part of the team. So again, the expectation is that Kenyans really, do we expect Ruto probably not to choose any of these, or the same will be repeated as we saw on the appointment of
I think he will reward some of them.
Yes.
Some are also rewards. You're rewarding people, not because they are competent. In a basket of 50, you expect a few hard nuts in there. I think if he got right 30 hardworking, brilliant, focused, honest PSs, more than enough. 15 can reward his supporters, his friends, some of those people who have held public offices, and they have come out nothing, nothing much in front, nothing much at the back. But you have to reward your friends, you have to reward people who have been with you, and you have to go along. I just trust it will be limited to a few, so that these people, we get people who can work. This country needs a lot of work. This country needs for us to move. And the president, having gone into office with a thin number, if he does not handle it carefully, going back may be difficult in 2027.
Yes.
Why do I say so? Kibaki went in with overwhelming numbers in 2002. And 2007, they had to do a abracadabra.
Yes.
In just a span of 5 years, it has gone so bad that he had to do hanky-panky, abracadabra here and there, to continue in office.
Yeah.
So here we trust that the president will tread carefully, having gone in with about 200,000 votes. People are watching, and things are not very good locally and internationally. There's a Ukraine war. There are many things. So he needs to tread very, very carefully. Can reward friends, but some friends, their records speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Wherever they were, they didn't leave an impact. They just led and left.
Yes. And we shall be looking at the task ahead for these PSs, because the president says that he has vowed to be strict when it comes to the performance, and telling them you have to work because we have a task ahead. You've mentioned the war in Ukraine, how it's the economic hard times that the country and the globe is facing, the effects of climate change. So just before that break, maybe you can tell us what is the task ahead for these principal secretaries. You earlier mentioned that they are the implementers, the policy implementers when it comes to various ministries that we are having right now.
Now, there are several promises the president made in his campaign trail that people are expecting.
Yeah.
Implementation. Every day people watch the price of unga. They want to see it down. Every day the hustlers are waiting for their fund. You have to collect money and give it. Every day we are looking at handling of CBC. These are deliverables which have to be done quickly and be done properly and be done satisfactorily. We have unemployment, runway unemployment of able young people. There must be creation of opportunities. Now, these have to come in quickly. So the tray is full, and these people will have to have very little time to orient themselves. Little talk, delivery. People want to see the unga down. They want to see the price of unga back to 100 shillings. Now, it is not a walk in the park. Why? Because of the war in Ukraine. The international economy has its own issues. The OPEC nations are doing their own games with the oil prices. We have the ongoing drought. We have quite a number of things. All these things, still Kenyans don't want to know. We just want to see, where is the unga? Why is this? And we also do not want to see taxes going up. Mm-hmm. So they have to come in and say, how do we raise finances without hurting the common person? These are thinking that they have to sit down, think, come up with it. Mm-hmm. And that will not require drama. Drama here means you can stay in the office up to 1 a.m. We have seen people who stay in offices very long, but productivity, nil. Mm-hmm. We have seen people who plan well, they implement things. We saw governors. There's some governors that looked like they were getting extra funds. To say, for instance, Governor Machakos, Alfred Mutua, Governor Oparanya, they did very well. You look at them and you're like, did you get extra money? But there are also some characters, you can't know where the money was sunk. There's nothing. You see cows in the town center grazing because they didn't plan, they didn't do anything. They were just doing public, how do you call it? Public stunts. I've seen some governors, instead of planning, they're already cleaning streets, cleaning beaches. And you're like, there's a policy decision. Let other people do it. And let us have a consistent, workable plan and then implement. Mm-hmm. So these people will have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And they have to keep the president popular by delivery. If they don't, I think the president will have a relatively difficult quest for second term.
Yeah, yes. And as we wind up talking about the second term and what the president has already been, there's already a hint that tax could increase because he's talking about we need to save more as a country, and Kenyans are really not up to that. We've already seen some professionals and stakeholders saying we need to have a salary increment first before this tax is increased. There's already that conversation. Again, you said this is what the cabinet ought to do to advise the president. Maybe that is again at stake. What is your take on some of the issues that the president is making pronouncements on, especially on the tax which has not been received well by the employed? Yeah.
Thank you. Everywhere you want to tax people, you'll have run into problems. Yeah. So that has to be shepherded well. Personally, I'm not a believer in savings. I don't believe in savings, especially in an economy like Kenya. Why do I say so? It is not economically viable. How? If you save your money and you are not able to save above the inflationary rate, then let's say you save for 5 years. By the time you take that money, inflation has eaten it. It requires economies where inflation is controlled. I believe as a quasi or armchair economist that people should learn to accumulate capital. Not just to save, but accumulate capital. What do I mean? You decide, I would like to buy this plot. It costs 300,000. So in the next 2 years, I'm going to save 5,000 shillings from my salary for that purpose. But just saving, then one day you fall ill and the hospital takes the whole of it. That is a circle that is not within the economic terms.
Right.
So the president is good in talking about savings, but there must be savings for what? And those savings, for them to have effect, certain parameters have to be addressed. One of them is medical costs. Number two, inflationary trends. Those have to be addressed if this saving has to make meaning.
Right.
Without it, we just save, then tomorrow you hurt your leg, my dear. You go to a clinic, they tell you 50,000.
Yes.
And then what you have been saving for the last 6 months,
all of it. All right. Thank you so much, Ambrose Weda, for your time. We do appreciate.
Thank you so much.
All right. And we now take a very quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. News Center continues after this. Stay with us.